Hey guys, by Austin Ramos, and unfortunately this Saturday night, Miami Dolphins lost in their Super Wildcard weekend matchup to the Kansas City Chiefs, 26-7, in a dominating fashion by the Kansas City Chiefs. Um, as a biased fan, complaining a lot to the referees will get you some calls, aka Mr. Crybaby Patrick Mahomes. But that's neither here or there. Dolphins just didn't perform well. You can't blame everything else on that. It's not the best performance by the Miami Dolphins. They stuck to what I thought they would do as a game plan, but it wasn't working. And it seemed like, in terms of the wind gusts and all that stuff, that wasn't a huge, crucial factor because both teams were able to throw the ball down the field. So I don't understand why the Miami Dolphins decided to stick to throwing it short and running the ball consistently when neither was working. But we're going to get into some highlights here. First touchdown for the Kansas City Chiefs goes to Rashee Rice. You're going to see here some miscommunication and maybe not understanding that either I'm sticking to this area or that's my man. I don't know exactly what went on there defensively. And then not a great move by Tua, overthrowing Jalen Waddle. If he throws that a little bit more towards Waddle's chest, that's an easy completion. Instead, it goes the other way for Kansas City. And, just not the best look by the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins would get a chance, though, to put some points on the board. So here goes Tyreek Hill getting deep. He's able to make the defender miss, deal with some DPI. If you guys pay attention really closely, you see Mahomes' helmet, crack and fall off. So that's how it looked in one of these plays in the third quarter. He was able to finish the drive, but then they replaced the helmet. Christian Wilkins, I think it's a bang-bang play, but referees disagree. But at the same time, that was a third down stop that the Dolphins had there, and it's crucial. Chiefs were able to extend the drive. And then, how about Isaiah Pacheco taking direct snap here and getting in the end zone for 6. And that's pretty much caps off all the replays we got here. By far, this was probably the worst Dolphins game I've seen this season. And it's not because of the magnitude of the game. It's not because, it was a wild card game. They should have performed better, etc. This is what we've been seeing from this Dolphins team as of late. Underperforming in these games. We have mostly the offense underperforming. Let me put it that way. 19 points against Baltimore, 14 points against the Bills. Only able to score one touchdown against the Dallas Cowboys, and then the 30-0 route against the Jets at home. I mean, it just wasn't the best stretch of football by Miami Dolphins, as you can imagine. And let's just dive into some of these numbers that can kind of prove it. First downs in this game, Dolphins had 13, Kansas City had 25. Dolphins ran 59 total plays, Chiefs ran 75. Dolphins were 1 of 12 on third down, Chiefs were 6 of 15. Fourth down efficiency, Dolphins were 3 of 6, Chiefs 1 of 1. Tough. Let's talk about penalties. The Dolphins had 8 penalties for 62 total yards. Chiefs had 5 penalties for 45. Time of possession were 25 minutes, 55 seconds, 34 minutes, and 5 seconds for the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll get into the box score really quick. I just want to address what I said for the keys of victory. It was pretty much the same for both teams. Just kind of flipped. Was Dolphins run the ball efficiently, keep Tua protected. And then for the defensive side of the ball, it was stop their running game and get to Mahomes. Kind of did neither, but it wasn't like it was horribly neither. It was just wasn't great neither. Let's just talk about the stats. So we got Tua going 20 of 39, 199 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 2 sacks for a loss of 11. And then we have Patrick Mahomes going 23 of 41, 262 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and sacked 0 times. I just couldn't get to Mahomes, and when they did, it was just too little, too late. The pass rush just wasn't there. And then Tua they were like having him out there with training wheels, which, I mean, we're in the playoffs, and I get it. The weather conditions are not the best. You could have a ball you're throwing downfield just get taken by the wind. I understand that, but it didn't seem to affect the game all too much. So I don't understand why the Dolphins stuck to the screen pass, those short runs, etc. Like it was not going off well. Rushing stats. Raheem Mostert led the way with 8 carries for 33 total yards, longest of 8. Tua had 3 carries for 25 yards, had a big 14-yard carry. Jalen Waddle 1 carry for 9 yards, and then Devon Achane 6 carries, 9 yards. Kansas City, Dolphins had 76 total rushing yards. Not good. Kansas City, Isaiah Pacheco, 24 carries, 89 total yards, 1 touchdown. Pretty good game by Pacheco, honestly, not going to lie. And then Patrick Mahomes, 2 carries, 41 total yards. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 7 carries, 21 yards. And then Mecole Hardman, 1 carry for -4 yards. And I think that was on 3rd down. Big stop, and then the Dolphins, that's when Kansas City went forward on 4th down and got the Dolphins slacking. Receiving, Tyreek Hill led the Dolphins receivers with 5 receptions, 62 total yards, 1 touchdown, longest of 53 off of 8 targets. So if you take out the 53-yard play, Tyreek Hill had 4 catches for, I want to say, 9 yards. Not good. Not good. And a lot of that was like screens and stuff, and it just wasn't working. And man, I just really frustrated with that stuff. Cedric Wilson, 3 receptions for 37 total yards, longest of 19. River Craycraft, 2 receptions, 33 yards, had a big 19-yard catch. Jalen Waddle, 2 receptions, 31 yards. Devon Achane, 3 receptions, 21. Durham Smythe, 3 receptions, 12 yards. Jeff Wilson, 1 reception, 6. Raheem Mostert, 1 reception, -3. And then Braxton Berrios was targeted once. For the Kansas City Chiefs, Rashee Rice was their leading receiver, had a really big game. 8 receptions off of 130 yards, 1 touchdown, longest of 39, and off of 12 targets. So pretty good day given the conditions. Like I know that the ball actually like being in the air for a while, like it gets hard while it's in the air and it feels like a brick is being thrown at you. Travis Kelce, 7 receptions for 71 total yards, 22 was his longest off of 10 targets. Noah Gray, 1 reception, 20-yard reception. Justin Watson, 2 receptions, 20 yards. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, 1 reception, 8 yards. Richie James, 1 reception, 6 yards. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 1 reception, 5 yards. And Mecole Hardman, 1 reception, 3 yards. Isaiah Pacheco, 1 reception, -1. The Chiefs had a couple fumbles. So let's put it here. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a fumble, lost it. It was recovered by Deshaun Hand. Creed Humphrey had a fumble, and says that Mahomes recovered it, and then Isaiah Pacheco had a fumble. He recovered it. And then let's talk about some of the defensive stats. Shout out to Duke Riley. You could see he was in excruciating pain and still stayed in the game, and was the Dolphins' leading tackler in this game. Duke Riley, 10 total tackles, 2 solo, and then 1 QB hit. Deshaun Elliott, 9 total tackles, 3 solo. And then Brandon Jones, 8 total tackles, 4 solo, 1 QB hit. And then let's talk about some key stats. David Long Jr., 1 tackle for a loss, 1 QB hit. Eli Apple, 1 tackle for a loss. Jalen Ramsey, 1 tackle for a loss, 1 pass deflection. Malik Reed, 1 tackle for a loss. Emmanuel Agbo, 1 pass deflection. Zach Sealer, 1 pass deflection, 1 QB hit. Christian Wilkins, 1 QB hit. And that's pretty much it for the defensive stats for the Dolphins. For the Kansas City Chiefs, Nick Bolton, 10 total tackles, 5 solo, 1 tackle for a loss. George Karlaftis, 6 total tackles, 3 solo, 1.5 sacks, 1 tackle for a loss, 3 QB hits. Let's see. Drew Tranquil, 4 total tackles, 4 solo. L'Jarius Sneed, 2 pass deflections. Trent McDuffie, 1 tackle for a loss, 2 pass deflections. Mike Edwards, 1 pass deflection. Willie Gay, 1 pass deflection. And then Chris Jones, 1/2 sack and 2 QB hits. And that's pretty much it for the defensive stats. We also have the Mike Edwards interception for no return. Braxton Berrios had 3 returns for 69 total yards, longest of 30. Alec Ingold had 1 return for 19 total yards. Leo Chanel had 2 returns for 27 total yards, longest of 16. Richie James had 1 punt return for a total of 1 yard. Jason Sanders went 1 for 1 on field goals. Harrison Butker went 4 for 4 on field goals. And then I went 2 for 2 on extra points. Jaden Sanders went 1 for 1 on extra points. My apologies. Longest of 32 for Harrison Bucker. And then 4 total punts out of Jake Bailey for 163 total yards. Longest of 51. And then Tommy Townsend had 3 total punts, 133 total yards, 1 touchback, 1 in the 20, longest of 48. Woo! That was a lot of stats. And this was very, very frustrating as a fan to watch. Just not a great performance by the Dolphins. A lot of hiccups, especially on offense. Defensively, I felt like, given all the defensive line injuries, the pass rush injuries, that they held their own. Unfortunately, couldn't get to Mahomes, but were able to get at least 5 QB hits on them. So just about the same that they got on Tua. The thing is, the Chiefs were able to bring down Tua with some of these sacks. They were able to get 2 sacks on him. I think big-time errors were – the biggest thing I didn't like is the play calling all throughout, offensively and defensively. It felt like the Dolphins were playing this soft shell coverage that, okay, like, we're not going to let you beat us over the top. So on the passing downs, so just, you can throw under us. We're going to make those tackles. Dolphins weren't really making those tackles. And on top of that, just allowing them to get free yardage, receptions, etc. Like, there was no pressure on those receivers on the Kansas City Chiefs. And it was very, very frustrating. I don't understand why defensively the Dolphins and Vic Fangio thought that was the way to go. Because it clearly wasn't. I'd rather you just be pressed up on the line. If you get beat by a deep ball every now and then, fine. We'll take it. But if they're struggling to get to the first down, then you're doing your job. And they were just, hey, anything within 10 yards, like, you can have. And then we're just going to try to tackle you after the fact. So that was just infuriating. Offensively, the running game was, good job sticking with the running game. But at some point, you're down. You're down, what was it? You're down 7-20, 19. And you got to get points. You have to. So I don't understand why they stuck to running the ball, screen pass, running the ball. Screen pass, running the ball, screen pass. Like throw the ball down the field, man. Like, I don't understand. I get it. The weather conditions are harsh. The football feels like a freaking rock. It's do or die time. And the Dolphins didn't approach it. Like, they approached it like, oh, this is just another week for us. That's how it seemed with the play calling. They just felt like, oh, like, we can just kind of lollygag our way through and end up, hopefully advancing. No, like, this is do or die time. And the Dolphins felt like they just did not. They did not take this game as serious. The game last year against Buffalo Bills in the Wildcard round was way more intense and Dolphins fighting for their freaking lives. This one, it just seemed like they were just frozen, literally, just stuck there. The guy hasn't moved in whatever. It was just pure frustration just watching that. For example, let's look at the wild card game against the Buffalo Bills. 31-32-4. I understand. Conditions might have been way better in terms of weather, but we did that with a backup quarterback. Given the defense was way healthier, but still, what were the Dolphins doing in this game that they thought, you know what, this is going to be good for us? It just literally head scratcher. It was very, very infuriating. That's it. Dolphin season is over. And while it was a very fun one, had its moments, has its highs and lows, it trended very, very down towards the very end of the season. Losing, 3 straight to close off the year against big-time opponents, Baltimore, Buffalo, Kansas City. I thought, after beating Dallas, the Dolphins would win at least one of the next 2 games. Maybe against Buffalo or maybe against Baltimore, we would have seen, but nope, couldn't win those games. Got smacked by the Baltimore Ravens. Bills had a chance, and I think the ball just bounced the Bills' way. Aside from that, Dolphins just were lackluster in that game. And then this Chiefs game, I was fully ready for the Dolphins to hopefully advance and go on to play Baltimore, and hopefully had this ideology that whoever wins that game against Baltimore Ravens versus Dolphins, whoever won that game was going to lose the next time they would meet each other in the playoffs. But not going to be the case. It's very unfortunate. Oh man, yeah, this is very, 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 very frustrating, and Dolphins just struggle to compete against these really good teams throughout the season. Lost to Buffalo twice, lost to Philadelphia, lost to Kansas City twice. Dropped the ball immensely against the Tennessee Titans. I can't believe that one. And that was the sign of the bad things to come for the Dolphins. We're able to finally get a 500 a win against a team above 500 against the Dallas Cowboys in a game that the offense wasn't horrible, but they couldn't get into the end zone at all. And kudos to Dallas' defense. Dallas has a really good defense. That game was purely won on the leg of Jason Sanders. And then lost to Baltimore, lost to Buffalo again. So all in all, just wasn't a good season. It really sucks that it has to end this way. I wish things were different. I wish the Dolphins were able to get the AFC East and host the playoff game. Maybe things would be different. But even then, the health of the team at the end of the season wasn't great. I'm not making an excuse here. I'm just pointing out the facts. Guys were banged up. But that doesn't excuse the fact that their lack of performance. I feel like all year the hesitancy to play Cam Smith. I get it. We have a good secondary unit. They were gelling well. You had guys come back from injuries like Brandon Jones, etc. But why not put the rookie out there? Let him get some reps because the guy is not prepared and we're not putting him out there. What? I don't know exactly what's going on there. It's just not good. It was very frustrating as a Dolphins fan, but got to give kudos to them. Tremendous season, 11-6 overall, second in the AFC East for the second year in a row, and just wish things were a little bit better for them. Last year was better in terms of facing opponents and getting big wins, dropping the ball on some of these. It is what it is, but I think they were better last year in terms of getting some of these key wins, but also lost every game except for the last one in December. So that was a big shithole there. Yeah. Let me know what you guys thought of this Dolphins season or just this game in general. I was very displeased and just hoping for a better future. The biggest kicker to this is that this team may not be the same next year. Not even remotely close. Tua's contract's up. Christian Wilkins' contract's up. There's a good load of guys that may or may not be returning, and there's going to be a lot of money spent on certain players, and that's going to be a lot of cap casualties to some of these other key players on this team. Andrew Van Ginkel's contract is up. Given his availability throughout the years, I don't think it's going to be a massive contract, but the performance is there. If he can sustain being on the field all the time, I think that would be very, very crucial and beneficial to him. But in all honesty, a guy like Andrew Van Ginkel may move on because Jalen Phillips is going to be in front of him. I know Andrew Van Ginkel is probably going to be ready to go to start off the season quicker than Jalen Phillips will because he's coming off of Achilles injury. But if I'm Andrew Van Ginkel, I'd probably test the free agency waters and see if I can get a contract elsewhere to be a guaranteed starter on a team and play the whole season, other than let me just be this filling guy for Jalen Phillips until he comes back, essentially. Which I get it. Jalen Phillips is tremendous, but I like Andrew Van Ginkel playing there too. So I wish there was a way that they all could be on the field at the same time. So yeah, lots of stuff is up in the air. I'm gonna make a couple more videos in the off season, but not too many. In terms of Dolphins coverage, it's gonna be very slow, very trickling. We're gonna do kind of what I'm talking about now is the free agency stuff, draft, and then some training camp stuff, and that's what I see in the future. But let me know if you guys want to see more Dolphins related content. But yeah, I'm just very, very upset with this recent Dolphins performance. But let me know what you guys thought. Appreciate you guys for watching. If you watched to this point, you're awesome. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.